shows you, I've learned a lot from this man. Never give up is one of his mottos, I know. I believe that's true. And he's going to give us the German picture today, political and administrative actions in Germany, and with emphasis on something that's been mentioned rather a lot, those magic little letters LED. So over to you, Andreas.
Thank you very much, Bob. You see, I have put here the wrong day, and I had to change a little bit my theme because I saw about the political and administrative evolution in Germany. I will speak tomorrow together with the sky brightness measurements. I have seen that I have to concentrate on the LED lighting because it's technically growing so fast at the moment that action is really necessary. I have reported about this already last year in Vienna, and especially during this 1 year, the evolution was so fast that I can present you now much more data. Well, LED lighting is always said that's a rapid increase of efficiency of white light LEDs, and you see it here, efficiency. The development of efficiency from an international firm. The advantage is long lifetime, compactness of the light source. It can be dimmed and switched very fast. These things are very sturdy, and they emit much more light at lower temperature than the other light sources. And industry often says that it reduces light pollution, and so the question is, does it really do so? Well, there are still some disadvantages. The efficiency is still lower than sodium high pressure. It's very expensive, and the thermal management is very hard to do. Many lamps are broken because they got too hot. And there's still a problem about the color rendition. Well, I show you examples from these cities, and I try to go through it quite quick. So last year I presented you the first one in Soest. You see that's such a pyramidal structure, and these sources were extremely glaring in my opinion. Were, of course, the first street lightings with LEDs I saw, and they had, and I always take spectra, they have a very, very strong blue emission. The next one I reported about was in Düsseldorf, and meanwhile I had the chance to go there once more. You see that's a very special development, and you see here the data. These LEDs that are used, and these are 25 of these LEDs. One of these LEDs costs about €8. And you see that these are very blue ones. They have a color temperature of about 6,500 Kelvin. Pardon? The black line. The green line is the sensitivity of the eye. You see this curve later on. Well, this is the installation. The development of this lamp was a cooperation between the Stadtwerke, the local power supplier in Düsseldorf, and the technical high school. I've never seen such a uniform illumination of a road. It didn't vary much more than between 13 and 15 lux. It was a little bit disturbed by the trees, but it was remarkable. There was no light in the gardens, but it was a very uncomfortable blue light. People didn't like it, and it was very glaring. And so the decision was by the Stadtwerke to put up there also warm LEDs and neutral LEDs with 5,000 and 3,000 Kelvin color temperature, and to make the study of Professor Eisenbeis to study the attractivity on insects. Unfortunately, Professor Eisenbeis, I tried to convince him to come, but he couldn't come. So can you give only shortly the results. And this was my last visit, and now you see the different light sources, but because they put up different light sources to see how is the attractivity. Here you have the cold white LEDs and the warm light LED, and you see very well the different colors. So you have HME, that's high pressure sodium, that's metal halide lamp, HSE, and that's mercury, and HIE, that's the metal light lamp. You see very well the different colors these light sources gave. Well, I took also spectra of these different sources, and I think for the first time I could also take spectra in the near-infrared, and was astonished to see that especially sodium has a very strong near-infrared line at about 800 nanometers. Here you see the results that were presented in conferences at the Stadtwerke in May this year, and that's the study by Eisenbeis. And the first result is that the LEDs have about 20% of attractivity on insects, and even the warm color LEDs have half of attractivity, so about only 10%. And industry is now using these numbers, these figures, and saying that LED is not very attractive to insects. Well, I'm not very convinced about this because I have some critics on this. Certainly more has to be done. You just saw, Kim showed this morning this nice picture of these old gas lamps, and Düsseldorf still has 17,000 gas lamps. They are very, very energy inefficient because they produce only 1 lumen per watt, so it's the least efficiency. So the energy supplier want to replace them by other things, but people do not want so. But LEDs would be a good choice to replace the gas lamps, and you see here some different replacements kits were shown during this conference. The second city is Hanover. In Hanover, the Stadtwerke wanted to install LEDs that are already deliverable by the industry. So you see 4 different types that have been installed. That's a product by a Netherlands firm, Indal. There's also very uniform illumination. It's used here to illuminate a place. That's another one to illuminate the road. So you see, you can illuminate the road, and you see also I have developed a method to use normal digital single lens reflex camera pictures to calibrate them in candela per square meter. You see it in the picture below. Again, very uniform illumination. And this is another one that's the only warm one that has been used, a Philips lamp in a park. So it's just for illuminating the paths in a park. Another street lighting, that's by the firma Hess, and it was also very impressive to see how well it is directed towards the road. You have no light, no glare light in the front of the houses. It was very impressive to see this. So you see, in general, these LEDs can be very well directed. They produce certainly very few light pollution, at least in the direction of the light. Another city is Stuttgart. They have already installed quite a lot of different LED lamps. I just show you one that's by Schroeder, and this lumina is unfortunately very glaring. You have a very uniform illuminance, and they said that this one has a color temperature of 3,400 degrees, but my impression it was much bluer, so Unfortunately, I have not more clear data, but for me it's an example that the uniformity, that the glare is a very great problem with these luminaires. Some others, especially for illuminating cycle paths. But you can also see in the picture above here in the background, you have there a very warm LED of 3000 degrees, and behind you have a sodium high pressure, and the color temperature is more or less the same than the sodium high pressure lamp. So it is really possible. Another test that was only installed for 2 months at the airport Münster-Osnabrück, because they want to illuminate several new roads, and they want to make something like an intelligent street lighting that you can switch off and on. And again, the Technical High School of Südwestfalen, they have developed here special lighting design with the symbol of this airport park. But you see in the picture below that the illuminance is not very uniform, unfortunately. Much better is, for instance, this luminaire by Citeco, but you see how much power you have to use with this lamp, but you have here a very, very uniform illuminance, but nevertheless you see also here that it is a very, very glaring LED. Another one, and I couldn't get more information about it, seems to be a Chinese product, also very uniform illuminance here, you can see, and here, well, I have not yet had the time to make the evaluation in candela per square meter, but it's possible. That's the Philips Cosmopolis as another example, also quite well distribution, and here you have also a spectrum that's essentially a sodium high pressure with other elements inside to have also a white light, blue light component. And finally, there's another firm near to Stuttgart. They make replacement kits for the other firms, and they have also installed here another. You see also very, very uniform illumination of this. Well, the problem is that in reality at the airport they have already installed a lot of very well full cut-off luminaires with few glare, and the best thing would be to replace them, because they have mercury lights, and to replace them by LEDs. So that was what I proposed to them, not to take the new ones, just to take the old ones. You see them here. They have very, very few glaring, and if you put in their LED, it would be much better than all the new luminaires. So the conclusions from all these projects is that LEDs can at least be used in residential street lighting. They have already a much higher energy efficiency than mercury lamps. Warm colors should be preferred, and it's also the resonance of the people in these streets that they prefer warm colors. Adaptive lighting or intelligent lighting is possible through motion sensors or controlled by SMS, like the Dial for Light project. But the negative aspects are still the very high glare, high investing costs, and the future that many municipalities don't dare to take these new lamps. What will happen in 10 years when you have new LEDs? Now you can exchange the bulbs, but with the LEDs, what can you do with this? So that's the disadvantage. Well, I've put this together in a small brochure, about 50 pages. If you want to have it, I have the PDF. I can give it. I have also an English translation. And last example, that's a firm very close to Osnabrück, VAT Energies. They have developed an autonomous system using a photovoltaic cell here and a Savonius wind rotator, so wind generator. For this, you do not need any power lines. you get 23 lux, and the one installed here has a temperature of 3,500 Kelvin, but it is standing alone, and there are a lot of insects flying around. It was a warm summer night. But they now make a large installation in Indiana, in a small city, Yorktown. They do not have to put their cables for this, so at least it's very, very cheap for this installation. I think a dozen or so they are installing just during this time. Yeah, and here you have the LED light and the stars. So one important thing is that you have to look, as you see here, we have the dark adapted eye sensitivity, the bright light sensitivity, and that's circadian light. The problem is that for the white light LEDs, you have maximum emission exactly at the same wavelengths as the circadian sensitivity, so it's not very good for the health of people. And you see the minimum is exactly there where our dark adapted eye has maximum sensitivity. So in reality, LEDs are not so very efficient as they should or could be. And you see also that warm, the red curve is 3000 Kelvin, they have lower blue emissions. So I say always, if you use these lamps, use lamps with a low color temperature. Perhaps the solution comes from the firm Inolumis from the Netherlands. They use two LEDs, a red and a green one, and with this one shall get a very good color rendition, but perhaps Wim can talk more about this solution if it works like they promise. And just the last, that's the last slide I show you, a small exercise I made. I took Günther Wuchtol's light meter. He will report about this this afternoon. I installed it on the roof of my car, put it to the signal to a laptop, and installed on the laptop a GPS. And by this, I could drive along the road, and I could measure by this way the illuminance. Well, I collected these data, and then I could transform these data, for instance, to put them into Google Maps. By this way, I have the possibility to measure the illuminance of the roads very efficiently. It's done very, very quick, and I can also put it into a topographic map. You see, these are the different levels. For instance, here's no illumination. In the smaller cities, smaller towns, you have low illuminance, and the more you come to the city, you have more illuminance. The main roads are very bright, and the residential roads are much darker. Thank you.
I have this wonderful picture in my head of Andreas driving with his laptop and his little meter and no hands on the steering wheel. It's probably illegal, I would think.
No, it was my son who was with me, and it was also my son who has made the software to put it into Google Maps.
It's a family business, isn't it? Yeah, all I can say is that, Andreas' efforts are so admirable. I just wish I could match them sometimes in monitoring what's going on in Germany. Anyway, we have time perhaps one or two questions. Just one. Completely educated. John?
Although you say that people prefer the warm LEDs, and clearly there are advantages to them, most of the installations you show appear to have been the blue type. Was this because they wanted to replace the mercury with something similar?
No.
Or they just didn't want to take it to hand quickly?
It's a simple physical effect, because the blue LEDs, 5,000 degrees, are the most luminous efficient. They have higher. The warm LEDs have about 20% lower efficiency than the blue light LEDs. That's the reason why, because they want to put as much light as possible. Unfortunately, all the firms use 5,000 degree, LEDs, and they unfortunately you have to pay more if you want to have a warm LED. You have to pay an additional price, even if when it gives less light.
When you say they want to do as much light as possible, in your view, is that too much light?
At the moment, not, because it's not yet bright enough. It's especially residential light, but you see 20 lux, it's already a lot of light for residential streets, because there is a lighting engineer in Germany, is retired, and he says always in residential areas one should not use much more than 1 lux.
Well, we have an interesting situation in Dorset where I live, where the same Cosmopolis light is being used in the town centre and in tiny villages. In the town centre they look quite good, but in the little villages people are angry because they say it's like living in a football stadium.
The general problem with the LEDs and with the Cosmopolis and all the ceramic burners is that they have very, very high intensities. On a very small room, they emit much light, and this gives it's much glare, and it's also it gives shadows. It gives very sharp shadows, and this is what the people do not like.
They're often on tall columns,
Yeah.
and the light goes through open windows, which is definitely something people don't like. Okay. One more.
When you're actually measuring as you're going around the world, if you just take measurements halfway in between, relax or how you can
Just every second. That's the look of the light meter from Symposium. He will report it all this afternoon or tomorrow. It takes every second the measurement. So the distance just depends from the velocity you are measuring.
So that actually is the average, including the direct illumination as you go under a street lamp. Or did you subtract that?
No, it's just the point. Yeah. So it's not exactly the light under. We are technically developing because I want to have a higher data rate. That I can have 10 measurements or 20 measurements per second. So that would be much more accurate. That was really a first test. But I think that's an interesting thing. Yeah. And you see, auto light meter, auto is in Germany car and automatic. Yeah. So it's a double sense.
Okay. Right, we must wind up. Very short question, very short
I
answer.
just want to reinforce in the United States, the problem we're finding is that the Department of Energy is really pressuring manufacturers to shoot for those higher color temperatures because of the efficiency. I mean, the difference of 10% efficiency is a big deal as far as they're concerned. So it's a problem that we're trying to work with the government because they're going to force this issue. But I'll also mention that Philips is picking 4100 Kelvin as a target for street lighting because their research showed the glare was so bad above that they really could not create a good luminaire.
That was a short answer.
Good.
Please carry on if you wish. Okay, thank you very much, Andreas.